Hello and welcome to Prequel to the Sequel. My name is Dwayne, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a small book haul that I acquired a few days ago, and then after that I'm going to be showing you what I've read this week. So I went to a used bookstore in Nashville, and I got like 6 volumes of manga, and then I ended up getting 2 books. So to start off, I'll show you the manga that I got. I found Crying Freeman Volume 4, which I've been needing for a while, and I found it for $1.50, so I knew I had to get it right then. Then next up I have Spirits and Cat Ears, Volumes 2 and 3. I bought the first volume there like a week or two ago, and I knew these were there, but I didn't want to buy them just in case I really didn't like the series, but I ended up enjoying the first book in the series, so I went ahead and bought these because I think that's all that's out, or there might be one more out by now. And then I found this series. It's called Crimson Empire. There's only 3 volumes in the series, and they actually had volumes 1, 2, and 3, so I own the entire series, and it was pretty cheap. It was maybe $10 total. So that was what I got in terms of manga. And then I got 2 books. First, I got All the Windrak Stars by Elizabeth Bear. I don't really know much about this except that it's like a modern fantasy, and it has to do with Valkyries. Plus, really the main reason I picked it up was this cover looked really, really cool. So yeah, based on the cover, I picked it up and read the description, and it was like $6, and this is a pretty good quality. It looks brand new, hardback. So, and it's normally like $25. So for $6, I knew I needed to get it then. Then I also found The Vor by B. Catling. I don't really know anything about this. I've just seen it on a lot of booktube channels, and I've heard from the SFF community that it's a pretty good book, so I found it and I knew I needed to get it right then. And now for my weekly wrap-up. I actually didn't read that much this week. I've been working a lot at my job, so I read 4 volumes of manga, and then I have been reading more on American Gods, and I'm really enjoying this. I should finish it this week. It's for the Booktubers Book Club from our Discord server. I can kind of tell that, or at least it seems to me, that there is going to be a lot happening towards the end of this book, because I just passed the 500 page mark this morning, so it's been pretty slow so far. Like, I feel like almost nothing has happened, but I've been reading it pretty quickly, which is weird because usually when a book is paced this slow, I don't enjoy it. But I feel like really the main reason I'm enjoying it is because I'm flying through it so quickly, so it feels like more things are actually occurring once I look back and think of the finer details. But yeah, basically there's a war between all of the older gods from all of the different religions and the gods from modern times, but the gods from the modern times aren't what you would typically think of as gods. It's gods for like the television and, you know, cell phones and the internet, which I actually find really intriguing, just because it's basically saying we worship those things in today's society, which I can definitely see. You might not directly worship it, but how much time we spend using just electronics in general is pretty bad, especially among like teenagers. Some adults too. But this book is really good. I'm really enjoying it so far. And yeah. So for the manga that I read this week, I finally picked up this book from that same bookstore, but I read it, so I wanted to include it here. It's The Flowers of Evil Volume 1 I've been looking for this for about a year, and every time I went there, they would have like volumes 8 and 9 or 9 and 10, but that was it. I could never find volume 1 no matter how hard I looked. And then when I walked in, they had volume 1 just sitting on the shelf, so I picked it up immediately. Because these, you can't just walk into, your Books A Million, Borders, um, Barnes and Noble, not Borders. Borders went out of business. But you can't just walk in and pick this up because it's a few years old. I think it came out in about 2011, 2012. But the real reason you can't really pick it up very easily, unless you buy it on the internet, of course, is because it was published by Vertical. And most of their titles are pretty hard to find after the initial release. They don't really make that many copies. But I've discovered that most of the manga series, at least now that I've been picking up, that I really enjoy are from Vertical. So I've been hearing stuff from the manga community about this series, but I also picked up one of his other works a few months ago called Happiness. It's in my collection video if you want to check that out. But that one's about vampires. So I wasn't really knowing what to expect from this series. And it's definitely, at least so far, nothing like that in terms of like action or I guess horror. It's more, it's kind of like a daily life, like a slice of life of this boy in, I want to say he's in middle school, just because like all the kids in his class look so young. But especially in anime and manga, it's sometimes hard to tell because I'm not used to their school system. So, but yeah, he ends up stealing this girl's gym clothes that he has a crush on, and everybody in the class finds out, and they keep wanting to know who did it, but he won't confess. But there's another girl in the class who's sort of the resident weirdo. Nobody likes her. Nobody talks to her. They talk about her behind her back. It's this girl on the cover right here. But she finds out that he stole them, and he tells the guy that he has to do whatever she says, and if he refuses, then she will go tell that girl and the entire class that he stole her gym clothes. So just based on what I said, if you've read any manga for maybe 1 or 2 years, you've come across this sort of topic before, where whether it's a boy becoming a servant for a girl or a girl becoming a servant for a boy, it's gotten kind of old, and I really don't enjoy it. But this is different because it's not used for like comedic purposes, which is how it is normally used. Really, this I've heard it gets really twisted and I don't want to say dark, but definitely on the stranger side of things. But based on this first volume, I can tell how weird it's going to end up being. And then next up, I read The Other Side of Secret, Volume 1. This was actually my fiance's. She got it, I think, about a week ago. I picked it up for her at that used bookstore at the same time as well. There's not much to say about it. It just based on the cover, you can tell what it is. Anyways, and then finally, I read Akame ga Kill 0, Volumes 1 and Volume 2. I really enjoyed watching the anime for Akame ga Kill, and this is actually a prequel series. It follows one of the characters, Akame, and before the events of the main series. And the series is really violent. Like, it's rated mature on the back, whereas the original series was rated, I think, older teen. But even that series uh, is pretty violent. Like, uh, it's not as ultra violent as Berserk or anything, but it's pretty crazy, and there are a lot of action scenes. Like, there was one chapter where it was a pretty big battle. It was in volume 2, uh, and it lasted like 40, 50 pages, but it got pretty intense. I have volumes 3 and 4 for this series as well, and I believe there may be 1 or 2 more volumes out now. So I will definitely be picking those up in the next few months, and I plan on trying to get caught up with the series really soon. And the same with the main Akame ga Kill series. There are like 2 or 3 out that I need to get. So if you liked this video, please like or subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, if you've read any of the books I mentioned, uh, please just leave a comment down below and I'll reply. So thank you. I'll see you all in the next video.